Today I'm going to open up one of those inexpensive page turners. They're designed to be clipped onto the side of a ebook reader, and they're relatively inexpensive, about $15 US, and we wanted to see if they are adaptable. Now, the one warning I'm going to say, and I've said it in some of the posts, is be careful with this sort of device because they do have lithium ion batteries in them, and if you accidentally short them out, you could have thermal runaway, which means a potential for fire. So you don't want that. So just be cautious, and you'll probably be okay. So the kit comes with a little bag and handle and a cable, the usual stuff. It's pretty nicely put together. I got the pink one so it shows up better on camera. So there's two parts to this. The one part clips onto the side of your e-reader like this, and then you have the remote part, which is here, which is then, I think I have to turn it on to pair it. It pairs pretty quickly, and you can see it works perfectly fine. So from that standpoint, it's fine. You might have to mess with the margins a little bit so it doesn't cut off words. If I put it at the very top of this Kobo, it does the bookmark, but anywhere else, it just does the next page. So let's take a look at actually taking this apart. Let's start with the remote part. This is the one you would typically want to adapt. You can see there are no screws, so it's going to be a snap fit case. But it doesn't really have a shadow line here, so there's really nowhere to get a tool in there. So one of the things that I do, I have a very small pair of slip lock pliers, and what I'll do is I'll give an enclosure the squeeze, and you see how one end, especially that end that has the little loop, opens up. And of course it's hard to do this on camera, but get one of your little tools in here, get it started, and be gentle with the wrench. It doesn't require very much, and then just run the tool down the side and it will gradually open up and there you go. So inside you have a pretty typical setup for this sort of device. You have the lithium ion battery here. It's directly soldered to the printed circuit board. There is a USB-C jack that is for charging it, so it has rechargeable, which is good from that standpoint. And then it has the usual bits and bobs to do transmission. This is the antenna built into the printed circuit board, and there's a microcontroller in here too. Now, one thing, there's one screw holding it in place. Now be careful when removing this screw. Let me zoom in just a little bit, because if you accidentally drop that screw, you could short out the battery. So there's one of your risks that you have to watch out for. Popping it open, it pops open like this. It has a metal dome switch, it feels like. Based on my initial investigation, there are no clear points to adapt to. It's sending 5 volts to there, and then it's syncing that somewhere, but I'm not sure where exactly yet. So that is going to require further research. My concern is that it's going to have to go over to the microcontroller, in which case you got to get really close to those power leads, and you don't want to short the power leads because the lithium ion battery will dump its power real quick and heat up real quick. There's a burn risk and a fire risk there, so use caution. So I still have to look at this a little bit more. I don't feel really good about it being a DIY adaptation. It's just, you're probably going to have to get in through one of the very small pins there. That's very careful soldering. So be cautious. This snaps just on like that. Now, what I wanted to see was how this device actually worked. It has a little pad inside here, and the pad is what touches the screen. Most of these screens are capacitive touch. So they don't require force, but they require the capacitiveness of your skin. And with this, same sort of deal as I did with the other one. I kind of squeeze it open a little bit just to get my tool in there, and then slide it down the side. And again, a good idea to use plastic tools. They're less marring, and you want to use plastic tools in case you accidentally hit battery contact. Okay, so this one's a little bit bigger. It actually has a larger battery in it for whatever reason. So the one-sided has the battery, has a pairing switch, there's the USB for charging, and on the other side you have, oh, it's a little tricky to get out. Here you have, again, the microcontrollers, you have the RF receiving stuff. This is an antenna here, that little coil there is an antenna. And going up to the clip, you have, it looks like, I want to say 5 or 6 pin ribbon cable going up there. So that is the magic part of it. And I haven't done any research, so I'm not quite sure how they're magically doing this. I looked up the FCC stuff, but they all have it under confidential, so they don't show you any of the diagrams or anything, which is usually you can get some sort of diagram off of the FCC site, but not on this one. So this is the magic part, and the reason I was going into here in particular is if I wanted to recreate this idea as a maker-friendly concept, because all I really need is whatever the heck this is doing, whatever magic this is doing to actually initiate the key press. All the rest of it, you know, I could get rid of the IR or the RF remote altogether if I wanted to, and just have a little thing that clipped to the side, maybe had a jack for a traditional switch, but we'll see. I'll have to research this some more and see how this is done. I did a little bit of looking on the old internet yesterday, but nobody that I've found so far has had a decent explanation of how these actually work versus, you know, the AI says, well, it uses RF. Well, yeah, it uses RF to talk to the two, but it doesn't use RF or to trigger the page thing. It's the page thing I care about. So I got into it easier than I thought. It goes back together pretty well without destructively busting anything, which is always nice. Just give it a little squeeze with some slip lock pliers. Use plastic tools. One of these little plastic things or credit card or whatever will get in there quite nicely. And again, I urge caution when you're working around lithium-ion batteries. They're generally safe, but you don't want to short them. If you short them, they dump their power way super quickly, and they heat up real quick. And depending on the battery manufacturer, some manufacturers have fuses in them, most don't. So keep that in mind. So as a device, it works perfectly fine. The button is pretty decently sized. I think if somebody needed a lever or whatnot, maybe 3D printed lever of some sort that would tie into the little lanyard hole there. Quite honestly, this doesn't even have to be 3D printed. I could probably put like an M3 bolt here and a piece of, I don't know, like a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor or something like that. I don't think it needs to be particularly high tech, depending on how big of a lever you need. So there you go. That is a quick look inside this inexpensive page turner. It's on your usual Amazon site, about $15 US.